Run for my money. There was nobody, no one that would run me. So can you run for my money? Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. She's lovely. I wanna be with you. 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 Me just love me. If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still love me? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still love me? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to love me. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. I got something. Hold up. We gon' function, no assumptions. Feeling like Tyson with it.
Yo, what's the deal, guys? I'm back, baby. The real is back for some more fire. New days. This will be the last Wednesday that you tap into the Mykell Mathieu Show. Going to be Mondays and Fridays, getting you ready for Monday Night Football and talking the games on Sunday for the NFL. And then Fridays, talking about what happened on Thursday and then preparing you for the weekend ahead for not only NFL, college football, and so much more. I appreciate everybody who's tapping in. And thank you for joining me here on the Mykell Mathieu Show, where you are part of my journey to reaching my Hollywood star someday. So I thank you guys for tapping in and being a part of this. I guarantee at the end of it all, you're going to love it. Whether you're watching it live or you tune in later, it's going to be a show that you want to be a part of. But let's get back to it, man. No time to play. Let's get to it. We got some WNBA action, baseball and stuff going on, and we are a day away from the NFL, so I'm excited for you. But I'm going to start in the NBA, and I'm here in Los Angeles based, and there are some things that are going on with Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer. Are the Clippers cheating to still lose? That's what it's looking like, because it seems like Steve Ballmer found a way to cheat the system to where he can pay $28 million to Kawhi Leonard a whole nother way without touching the salary cap, which allow you to add more players to a team that still hasn't won an NBA championship. So it's a very weird situation, very embarrassing situation when you think about the fact that the Clippers may have been cheating the way that they were and doing something sly and slick, but still weren't able to add a championship. And that's what makes it all crazy, because, man, if you're going to cheat the game, like we've seen the Patriots cheat in the NFL, but they got the rings to show for it. For the Clippers to be cheating the way that they did and not have any rings to be added to it, it is a unique situation. But I know we're going to hear more about this. We're going to hear more about everything when it comes to this Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard story, but man, it's just a sad situation um, that we've seen take place. And, somebody's going to have to say something. We're going to need to hear something from Steve Ballmer, from Kawhi Leonard. What is it going to lead to? Lost draft picks, possibly some first round picks that are going to be lost. I know fines are going to come, but it's going to have to be some more investigation into this. But it's just a shame. If you're going to cheat, guys, I'm telling you out there, if you're going to cheat, make sure that you are winning. Because if you're cheating and not winning, you're just embarrassing yourself. And that's exactly what's happening with the Kawhi Leonard situation. So we're going to have more about that. So I can't wait to find out more. As you know, I do cover the Clippers. So I'm waiting for them to reach out to us so that we can find out the story, find out more, because it is a shame that this has happened. But we know teams try their best to bend rules. Steve Ballmer is a guy that really wants to help the Clippers win a championship. So he's going to try his very best to do so, but it just didn't work out. Pablo Torre put out the information, and it seems like they are caught. So let's see what's going to happen. I see some people out there getting dramatic and, oh man, Kawhi Leonard should never be able to play for the Clippers again. It doesn't matter. People bend the rules all the time, and they're going to pay for it. They didn't win a championship, so they just more look like fools more than anything. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen there. Of course, there's going to be a lot of football talk on today's episode, and I'm going to get to that, but I'm going to keep it on the hardwood. Even before I tap into the WNBA, because there's some great action going on there. But it's a conversation that's been had. It's been going on for years. You hear in basketball, and here at the Mykell Mathieu Show, just know I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And if you're here listening in, hey, lucky you, baby. But I want to talk about this situation. We know about the legacy and greatness of the late, great Kobe Bryant, his career, the things that he was able to achieve and do. But even though I thought for sure, like, okay, the talks about him playing with Shaq is going to be buried. He won 2 championships, played in 3 straight finals, had the Lakers as one of the better teams in the league all the way up to the end of his career. But for him to still be thrown in a conversation is, oh, you can't put him this high because he won 3 rings with Shaquille O'Neal, like he wasn't one of the top 5, top 3 players in the NBA, and arguably the best all-around basketball player, most skilled guy during that era when he was like 21 to 23. So I just think that we have to start distinguishing things, right? I've came on this show before and I talked about point guards, that who's a point guard, who's a shooting guard. Some of these guys are just shooting guards that dribble the ball much more, especially in this era, and they're not true point guards. But, and Rick Pitino agrees. Shout out to the legend himself. But I just have to talk about this because I think it's time to distinguish what exactly we talk about when we talking about these stars. Of course, guys like Kobe played with Shaq, Steph played with Durant, and so forth. But I think that there's a difference that people don't like to talk about just because they like to try to lessen somebody's name or lessen somebody's legacy. And I think that's exactly what happens when you look at these players. So I think it's time to start to do something brand new. Just like we may need to have a combo guard, we have to start talking about co-stars and sidekicks. What are the difference, right? You look at a guy like Scottie Pippen, who is one of those guys that's on the borderline of a co-star and sidekick, but I think he's more sidekick, right? Michael Jordan carried a heavy load, especially offensively, scoring 28 plus and things like that. And of course, Scottie was his guy, but Scottie never went anywhere to be a number one, or you never thought of Scottie going to a new team and being the face. He never proved that with his post-career of Michael Jordan. He had 1 year that he looked great, but if you remember that following year, the Bulls weren't doing too well before 45 Jordan came back. So you can argue with me on each end of that, whether he's a sidekick or a co-star, but I'm going to go sidekick. And I believe that there is a difference. I believe Scottie Pippen sidekick. Kevin Mykell was a sidekick to Larry Bird. They had a great team, but if you wanted to pick one guy and place them next to their superstar, it had to be Kevin Mykell. And at one point, he was a six man. So sidekick. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were sidekicks. They were never guys you viewed as they can be the face of a team and carry a team. That just wasn't what they were. Were they finals MVPs? Were they really good players? Yes, but they were sidekicks. Jamal Murray, he's another guy that he is more of a sidekick when you look at who he is in his career. Vernon Maxwell was a sidekick next to Dream when Dream was able to win his first championship with the Rockets. Chris Middleton, he wasn't a co-star. He was a sidekick who was playing next to Giannis. And then, of course, there's others in the history of the NBA as well. So I hope you guys are with me. There's a difference between sidekick and co-star. A co-star is that guy that's just as equal. Like there's nights, or there might be a playoff series where he was the best player, or it might be a playoff run where he was the best player, but the other guy dominated in the finals. And I think that's how we have to distinguish these guys. A guy like Kobe Bryant was never looked at as a sidekick. Once the Lakers started to win, 99, 2000, Kobe went from his years where he was a little sidekick, but then once he became a guy that can take over games and take over a series like Shaq, that's when they started winning championships. So he's a guy that was a co-star. So stay with me here. Co-star, Kobe Bryant, probably the greatest co-star in his stretch of 3 years. Steph Curry was a great co-star along with KD. Any given time, you couldn't tell who was the MVP of the team. It could go either way. Kevin Durant happened to win the finals MVP just like Shaq did. Shaq was once a co-star with the Heat. He wasn't a sidekick to D Wade. He was a co-star who, of course, was a little older, who did his thing throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. But once the finals came, D Wade took over and he did his thing. That's a co-star. Magic or Kareem, however you want to put this duo, who's the top guy, who's the secondary guy. People always look at our finals MVP, which I feel is the most overrated trophy in sports. It's just you have a good series and you win the award. Don't mean you were the best player in the playoffs for your team or the best player, period, during that playoff run. You just had a great final series and it led to a finals MVP. James Worthy has a final MVP. Was he better than Magic or Kareem? No. Iguodala has a finals MVP. Some people say Jason Tatum is the best player of the Celtics, but Jaylen Brown has a finals MVP. So I don't think that award tells you the whole story. That's why there are co-stars that it can go either way. So Magic or Kareem, however you want to put it, one of those guys was a co-star to the other, but it can go either way. Kareem was the MVP in Magic's rookie year. He was great throughout the playoffs. He went down and got hurt because he was great in that finals. Could have easily been the finals MVP, but he got hurt. Magic took over game 6. He got the award. Those were co-stars doing their best to help their team win. Anthony Davis with the Lakers. Go look at the numbers. He led the Lakers in nearly all of the major categories during that regular season other than assists, scoring at 27.8, rebounding, block shots, steals. His field goal percentage was better than Bron. The reason why that team was so damn good in 2019, 2020 was because Anthony Davis was a perfect co-star next to LeBron. He could have easily been the finals MVP. It was probably one game I can remember in that Bubbles finals that AD kind of didn't play as well, and it led to LeBron being the finals MVP. So AD was a co-star for that Lakers team. Jaylen Brown, I mentioned him earlier. He was a co-star for the Celtics. It wasn't just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown was just another guy. Jaylen Brown was just as equal, just as important. He won the Eastern Conference MVP. He won the finals MVP. He was a co-star. And then there's others in the history as well. So do y'all understand what I'm saying? So I don't want to see anymore. I hate seeing it. I know idiots out there who think they know basketball or sports are going to bring it up. But Kobe, like many others, was not a sidekick. He was a co-star. There's a difference between Batman and Robin than Batman and Superman. There has been a lot of situations where there has been Batman and Robins and Night Wings or whatever else that fits on the side, Batgirl. But then there has been a lot of Batmans and Supermans that has led teams, and that's where Kobe Bryant with Shaq was. Without Kobe being as great as he was, pushing the team like he did, being that guy that was like, I want to catch Jordan, be better, that Laker team wouldn't have been as great. Yes, you could throw in AI, T-Mac, whomever else, LeBron at 20 years old, they're not winning 3 straight championships and having that type of push and drive the way that Kobe had, because he was the perfect co-star next to Shaquille O'Neal, not Penny. Right? Penny was a great co-star, but he wasn't Kobe Bryant. That's why Shaq was able to win, and that's how it works in the game of basketball. You can have sidekicks, you can have co-stars, but certain guys are just as important as a top guy. That's a co-star, and certain guys are just a helping piece, and those are sidekicks. So let me know. Remember, you can always comment. Go to YouTube, Misfits Live, The Misfits Live, THA Misfits Live, where you can comment and I can give you a shout out and show you some love, baby. But that's it when it comes to the guys hoop right now. We're getting closer and closer to the season, but as we know, the WNBA is still going, and the Los Angeles team has a chance to make the playoffs. But it's all on them. They are going to have to finish these last 5 games, 2 against the Dream, 1 against the Wings, 1 against the Mercury, and 1 against the Las Vegas Aces, who may not be playing any of their important players late in that season because of it's the final game of the season, and they might already have the second spot sealed up. But the Sparks, it's on them. They got to go at the very least 3-2 to make the playoffs, but 4-1 is ideal. So finishing strong here, and it's starting right now. They're actually trailing against the Atlanta Dream. It's so crazy that at the end of the season they played them 2 straight games, but right now Atlanta is up 53-41. But it's on you, Los Angeles Sparks. If you want to make the playoffs, you guys are going to have to win these games. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The Fever, they have 2 games left, and they have a chance to maybe possibly split. And it's going to be, a possibility there, especially with no Caitlin Clark as of yet. The Seattle Storm, who has struggled late, have 2 tough games to where possibly 22 losses might be where the Sparks need to be because they have the tiebreaker. But right now, the Sparks sit at 19-20. They want to get no lower than 21 to for sure themselves a spot in the playoff. That's 21 losses. So that means they can only lose 1 game the rest of the way if they want to for sure a spot in the playoffs. But at the very least, if some things go their way, 22 losses might be enough. So that's 3-2. But let's see what's going to happen. Kelsey Plum has been balling. De'Erica Hamby, Rakia Jackson. They need their bench. They bench only average 14 points a game, the lowest in the W. But when they play well, Ray Burrell and Cameron Brink, they can come in and get some buckets. It helps them, especially with Azare Stevens struggling as of late to be that 4th player and that fearsome foursome I talked about most of the season. So we're going to see what happens there. But the WNBA season is coming to an end. September 11th will be the final games played. My fingers are crossed. Let's see if the Sparks can get in there because, hey, they have a chance. I've been covering a team for about 3, maybe 4 years. They haven't made the playoffs yet. So I would love to see some playoff basketball with the Los Angeles Sparks. So let's see. Y'all, whatever y'all do, pray, get your fingers crossed, whatever you can do. Let's try to wish the Sparks can get in to see LA finally back in the playoffs since the wobble in 2020. But that's it for the hoops. Y'all know I love my hoops. I can talk it all day, but it's enough of it. I gotta go to the gridiron because football is here, and I'm gonna start with college football. I know everybody is killing Arch Manning. If you watch the latest episode of The Misfits Live with me and my guy Elam, he tried to go crazy at me because I said that Arch was going to start his Heisman run and ball out. And of course, like myself and others, I was wrong. But Arch Manning has time. If you go look at that schedule, he has about 3 straight games that look like cupcakes that he can go crazy to get his footing together and get himself right to help lead this team and put up some astronomical numbers to where, once again, we'll be talking about him once again. He was in a tough matchup. They played at Ohio State, one of the better defenses that you knew coming into the season. The defending champions getting their championship banner raised. A team that was at home, where it's tough to win in Ohio State. Ask Michigan and these teams in the Big Ten. It ain't easy to go up there. And then it was Lee Corso's final game calling it on ESPN. He picked Ohio State. So you know it's that added pressure. So it was just tough for Arch Manning to show up. And I know people are like, yeah, want to talk about the last names. If Shedeur was, what's up, Shedeur? But Shedeur Sanders never played in a football game that big in his career. At the Black College, he didn't play in a game that big. At Colorado, they was never ranked number 1 or top 5. He never played in a game as big as what Arch Manning had to deal with. But Arch showed me something. Late in that game, he made some plays, nearly brought them back to win, and it showed me a little bit. So he's going to get these next three games to where he can really get his stats crazy and get his team back with the swagger that they came into the season with and stop doing that weird sidearm throws that he's doing. But I believe that there's a chance that that guy, Arch Manning, can bounce back and shut up all you naysayers, because I still think he's a talented guy. Do I think he's this generational talent like Andrew Luck, like Cam with a big body that can possibly run, and like some others that we've seen? No, I don't think he's that. But do I think he can be a really good quarterback and possibly be the number 1 pick for an NFL team? You damn right. There's still time for it. So take it easy on him, because the guy is going to be all right. I got to give a shout out to the state of Florida. University of Miami got a big win in the convict versus the Catholics, years age battle. They picked up the win over Notre Dame, which was really nice. My Florida State Seminoles, if you didn't know, I'm a Florida State Seminole fan. Blame Prime, blame Peter Ward, Chris Winkie, Ward Dunn. That's why I'm a Florida State fan, but it's also love for USC. But, Florida State picked up a big win, knocking off Alabama, and it was very impressive because they came in talking crazy, saying there's no Nick Saban there, and they showed up and showed out and picked up that great dub. So shout out to them for doing exactly that, picking up that win. It was very impressive, man. I'm very excited from what I saw from that Seminoles team, and I think they have a chance to be special this year, especially in the ACC. But I want to give a shout out to Michigan, right? They have the biggest matchup of this week. They travel to Oklahoma, and I want to make sure that I get this quarterback's name right, because we talked about Arch Manning and how generational some people think he might be, but there's still some things to work on for me to believe it and for others to believe it. But I do think he can be really good. Remember that. But Bryce Underwood is a name that you need to know. He was the top recruit this year coming in. He is a true freshman starting at Michigan. Do you know how hard it is to be a true freshman starting at the University of Michigan? But he looked really good in game 1, 251 throwing yards, 1 touchdown. The former defensive coordinator for Clemson, who's now at Oklahoma, he's like, hey, this dude, Bryce Underwood, he reminded me of Trevor Lawrence. And he's one of those guys who we felt was generational when he played. So Bryce Underwood is a name that you need to know. He can throw it. He can run. He is a guy that by 3 years, he's going to be one of those stud guys that we're going to be talking about that has a chance to blaze the NFL, but it's going to start with his freshman year. So let's see if he can play well. If he can go to Oklahoma, go into Norman and pick up a win, I believe in him, and I will fully believe in this Michigan team. So shout out to Bryce Underwood. Remember that name. Write it down. The guy is a baller. I know it ain't basketball and it ain't Dick Vitale, but he is truly a diaper dandy as a freshman. So let's see what's going to happen there. And then like I said, shouting out Florida once again. Shout out to Miami, Florida State doing their thing. It's just good when it's good college football in the state of Florida. Miami, Florida State, and the University of Florida. When they're going, it is really, really dope and it is really, really lit. But it is the NFL season. The kickoff is tomorrow, and I cannot wait for it. You're going to see the Cowboys open up, visiting the defending champions. I hate to say it as a Chiefs guy, but damn, the Eagles are the defending champs, and they're going to open up against the Micah Parsons Dallas Cowboys. As we know, the big trade happened, and I feel that it's a win-win with that situation, and I'm happy that saga is over and done. So let's get to it. Let's see what Dak can do with George Pickens and see if the running game can get going and see how the defense steps up with the loss of Micah Parsons. So it's going to be very intriguing to see that game with the Cowboys and Eagles. And then Friday night, Chiefs Chargers is going to be great. I cannot wait to see that game. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Chiefs. Like, people are talking like the Chiefs are going to be scrubs this season. They're going to take a step back and fall off. Last time they said that, they lost Tyreek. They weren't going to win. The offense is going to take a step back. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. This year 2 for Xavier Worthy. You got Hollywood Brown's healthy. Rashee Rice is going to come back after his suspension. Travis Kelce, I think the running game is going to be better. They got a legit left tackle. The Chiefs are going to be really, really good, and a team that's going to be there in the Final Four once again. What happens from there, who knows? But they are a team you need to look out for. And, of course, the Chargers are going to be tough, but I just don't think that they are going to be better than the Chiefs. But it's just exciting times, man. I did my fantasy draft. I think my team is pretty solid. You guys can comment whether you watching it live or watching it later and let me know what you think of my team. Let me pull it up because I think I got a squad that can win my league. I think that we're going to be a very formidable foe for the people in my fantasy league. But this is my team that I was able to draft. Jalen Daniels, we got Gibbs, we got Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Xavier Worthy, McBride, the tight end for the Cardinals, Rome Odunze with the Bears. I got the Texans defense. I got Dicker, the kicker from the Chargers. On the bench, I got Goddard. I got Higgins, the rookie receiver for the Texans. I got Judkins, the running back. He hasn't signed his rookie contract yet, but I believe he will and start to get touches. Jaylen Warren, and then the Chiefs defense to round it out. So I think my squad is pretty solid. If you think you got something better, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what the hell you got going on because I think my squad is legit. So I hope you guys are ready for me to be talking reckless throughout the season about fantasy football, throughout the season about the NFL in general. And I want to give you my picks. If you checked it out, the Misfits Live, if you haven't seen the latest episode, go check it out. Me and my guy, Elam, we do our thing. And we drop whenever you least expect it, and it's always a fire episode. But I want to give you my picks for NFL week number 1. Here we go. Cowboys, Eagles at home. I like them. I believe that they win. It's going to be a party against the Cowboys. Chiefs, Chargers in Brazil. I have the Chiefs picking up a victory there to start their season 1-0. It's going to be a tough one like it always is against the Chargers, but they find a way to win. Buccaneers, Falcons. I'm going to go with the Bucs. I like what they got on offense. The defense is nice. They may be that second, third best team in the NFC. Browns, Bengals. I think the Bengals finally start off fast. They pick up a win there. Dolphins, Colts. I'm going to go Dolphins. I do not trust Daniel Jones worth anything. You can give him Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and T.O., and I don't believe in him. So I got the Dolphins there. Raiders at Patriots. I think Patriots protect home. Mike Vrabel there going to have that defense tough. They're going to find a way to beat the Raiders. I got the Cardinals over the Saints. They're starting Rattler, a young quarterback. I don't see it happening. Steelers, Jets. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think Aaron Rodgers gets the win to smack up the Jets, the team that let him go. Commanders over Giants. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars protecting home in Travis Hunter's first game. I got the Broncos at home smacking up Cam Ward, the first overall pick. They are going to be tough this year. I got the Seahawks protecting home and beating and upsetting the Niners, who a lot of people may have winning that game. I got the Packers protecting home. I think Michael Parsons is going to have a really good performance and help his team win. And then you have the Texans versus the Rams. I'm going with the Houston Texans. I believe that they are going to find a way to win in LA. Then one of my favorite games of the week, Sunday Night Football, Bills, Ravens. I'm going to go with the Ravens on the road. Lamar Jackson gets his get back after losing to Josh Allen in the playoffs last year. And then finishing up, Vikings, Bears. I'm going with the Bears. I think Caleb Williams is going to ball out, guys. So let me know if you guys agree, where you disagree when it comes to the picks. But those are my picks for week 1. Once again, just to run through them for you, I got the Eagles, I got the Chiefs, I got the Buccaneers, I got the Bengals, I got the Dolphins, I got the Patriots, I got the Cardinals, Steelers, Commanders, I got Jacksonville, the Broncos, I got Seattle, I got Green Bay protecting home, I got the Texans on the road, and then the Ravens on the road, and the Bears at home picking up a win. So you guys let me know what you think. So that's it for my NFL talk. As you know, when it comes to myself, yes, I'm a sports journalist. Yes, I cover sports, a lot of them, but I'm more than just a sports guy. I'm tapped into hip hop. I'm tapped into the culture there. Of course, I talk about my movies and shows, but other than the Peacemaker, which I'm watching season 2, which has been dope so far. That show is crazy. So if you're going to go and watch it after listening to me, get yourself ready for it. But it's a really dope show. I really enjoy it. But I want to really tap into this hip hop thing because Drake did an interview, but it's not with who we expected. He did it, of course, with Bobby, and a lot of people feel some type of way about it. And damn it, I feel some way too. I feel that these rappers need to get back outside. We applauded the Clips, Pusha T, Malice, for just getting outside. Let's talk to the people. Before we listen to your music, talk to us. We want to know what's going on in your head. What was the process of you making this music? And I shout out to Bobby. She's doing her thing, and she's going to take advantage of any big-time interview she can get, but she's not a real journalist. She's not king or queen at this. She is somebody that is very amateur, and that's what it is, amateur hour with her. And, I know Drake being half Jewish, white, and half black, he gets to really unleash his white side when chilling with Bobby, but we don't want to hear none of that. You're coming off one of the biggest battles in rap history, one that you lost, and we know you feel some type of way about it and more. Let's talk about it. What's going on with you, Drake? What do you feel about life? We would like to know it, and somebody like Bobby ain't getting that out of you. And I know he wants to avoid the hard-pressing questions, but you can't do it if you really want to get people back on your side. You need to just jump head first and then say, yo, what's up? I'm here. What y'all want to talk about? Let's get to it. But he has Iceman episode 3 is going to be dropping tomorrow, so let's see what that's going to be all about. People are talking about a red button. We've been hearing about this since the battle. Let's see if that so-called red button is a part of it. And I just don't understand. Like, even when it comes to athletes, I feel, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like these entertainers or like rappers and big-time athletes just don't do sit-down interviews as much as they used to. I remember growing up and seeing Ahmad Rashad sit down with Jordan and seeing, these different star athletes doing these sit-down interviews. And, even rappers, Tupac doing his interviews, and Big, and all these guys. And it allowed you to connect more with them, so you appreciate their music. You appreciate what they do on the field, on the court, on the baseball diamond much more when you're able to sit down and watch interviews with them where they kind of can be themselves fully and you get to know about them more. Like, I think that's what's missing from the game today. And I know there's social media and people post throughout social media, but it's not enough. You can't forget what has always been successful, and sit down interviews with the right people can do a lot of things. And before I get out of here, I got to talk about what people are calling Rat Atlanta, with everything that's going on with Thug. Of course, Gunna before him, but I'm just going to tackle the part that became big and had Kendrick Lamar's name without him even speaking, a big hit on the socials because everybody's mentioning, because Young Thug, I don't know who's leaking these tapes. I'm not a fan of private conversations being put out there, but they were recorded, and somebody is going crazy with them. And his hate towards Kendrick Lamar got people talking how he was mad that Kendrick didn't work with him, Lil Baby, 21, and Dirk. And I'm just like, no rapper is forced to have to work with any other rapper or rap group. They can work whenever they want to. Of course, we would like to see everybody work with others, but it didn't always happen like that. Tupac didn't work with everybody. Big didn't work with everybody. Hove didn't work with everybody. Sometimes didn't work with everybody. Sometimes some people you just maybe don't agree with what they do or what they rap about or how they rap, so you stay away. So for people saying that, hey, man, Kendrick don't be putting no people on, Kendrick don't do that, go look up the history of features that Kendrick has given to all of these rappers, big and small, that he's gave verses to. What were they all hit singles? No, because Kendrick wasn't really that guy, and even to this day he don't reach for that. He reaches for, trying to give you more than just hit singles. And sometimes, just like he did with the Clips, he might just want to come give you some bars, and it's not going to be a number one, but he has given people music for years, from the West Coast, from the South, from the East Coast, wherever. And that's just what he has done. So the hate that's given, people talking about, oh man, Kendrick don't feature enough. He does more than enough features, and he do them in a dope way. And when it comes to Dirk, Thug, Lil Baby, and 21, maybe Dot is like, man, that's just not my groove. That don't fit the what I want to deal with. And that's why him working with Kodak Black was a little surprising. But maybe that was just his one-off. You know what I'm saying? He did Rich the Kid song, New Freezer. So maybe he has these one-offs here and there, but I just didn't see the fit with those guys, and that's where I kind of think he was at with it. But all this hate towards Kendrick, the man is culture. The man has worked with a lot of artists, and he will continue to be great and do so for the rest of his career. But I thank you guys for being a part of the return of the Mykell Mathieu Show. It's going to be more of it every Monday and Friday. You are going to see this beautiful face, give you a lot of game, and talk to you about a lot of games and game and culture and films and shows and all these different things. I got you covered here. So be back with me on Friday. I'm going to try to get in before the Chief Charger game. If not, of course, I'm going to be on there after to talk about hopefully a Kansas City Chiefs win. But it's football season, baby. I'm excited for it. Make sure y'all tap in LA Sparks Weekly. I got to get back to going watching this game. I don't know what it's looking like. I'm hoping it ain't too ugly, but I got an episode tonight. We're going live, LA Sparks Weekly, me and my host, DJ Treacy Treese, and we're going to be talking about this game and a lot more with the Sparks, so be on the lookout for that. But thank you for joining me. I can't wait to be with you again on Friday. It's going to be another great show, so I thank you. I thank you. I see you guys next time, baby. I'm out of here. Let's listen to this Kendrick before we go, baby. Peace.
Feeling like Tyson with it. Only for the night, I'm kidding. Only for life, yeah, only for life, yeah, only for life. Let's get it. Hit that shoulder, me. I know what coming over me. Backstroke overseas. I know what you